Good morning, good afternoon all. We are very pleased to welcome you for this fifth edition of this IFCU Biennial. Today, we'll give the floor to the University of Saint Joseph, and especially we will discover and discuss about the art gallery of UCEG. So for this vibrant experience that we have started previously with Seton University and followed by the Pontificia Universidad Pontificia Católica of Peru, Catholic University of Peru. We continue today with the University of Saint Joseph, based in Macau, and to continue this artistic journey, today we have the pleasure to be with two panelists, two professors that are working at the University of Saint Joseph in Macau, Sandra Olga Kanmanang and Filipa Martins de Abreu. Both of them are from this university. Sandra is a senior lecturer at the UCG of Macau, and Filipa Martinez also is assistant professor at the Faculty of Art and Humanity of the university. So welcome, Sandra and Filipa. So we are looking forward to discover about the artifacts and the treasure that offers the UCG gallery, and what is your approach in terms of implementing arts and culture on the campus of UCG and the interaction with students. So we will discover how this is organized. And after that, after your presentation, we will have a moment of discussion where the participant can raise a question, also share a comment with you. So once again, thank you for all to be there. Thank you to Sandra and Filipa to give some of your time today and to discover a new place of art and culture in this frame of the International Federation of Catholic Universities. So Sandra and Filipa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So now I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so thank you very much, Nicola, for introducing us and also facilitating this webinar for us to introduce our work and our art gallery in this special occasion. Before our presentation, we also like to have a special thanks to all the fellows university who participated also in this event, so we can have the opportunity to see other artifacts. Also our rector, Professor Stephen Morgan, for connecting us with the community, as well as our Dean, Professor Carlos Sanakalish, for supervising our work. And of course, our colleague, Professor Filipa Martins, and also Professor João Estadeu, who is not here today, but later on a lot of our projects. He is also one of the very big participants. So about us, since we were already introduced, just to give a little bit more context, is that our gallery actually is divided into 4 sections, and because I'm quite new in the department and there are some projects developed before me joining the department, so my colleague Professor Filipa Martins, she will also introduce to us and to me again to refresh my memory about some of the previous projects. As the beginning of the presentation, I would like to give a small introduction to our university and also to Macau, this special administration region of China. We have a surface of only 32.9 kilometers square. Our population is quite dense compared to other places around the world. We have at least our population 680,000, plus all the workers and tourists from all over the world, and also mainland China every day. So our city is always packed with people. Before 1999, we had the Portuguese government for 40 decades actually. So our city is very special because we are a Chinese community. However, around the city we do have a lot of Portuguese and traditional architecture. That's why when we present our projects, you will see a lot of Portuguese touch of the city. For our university, we do have a very long tradition because everything started many years ago in St. Paul's College. And nowadays it is the St. Paul's ruins because it went through fire and we went through a lot of historical events that until today, we only have the facade of the St. Paul's Church. So I will pick up from this part. We were talking about the beginning of our university because in 1594, we started as the St. Paul's College. But then we have the St. Joseph's Seminary, and this is the part that where we continue our education until many years after, even though the St. Paul's Church and the St. Paul's College were torn down by fire, and after the Jesuits left the sites. And then in 1996, we have the Macau Inter-University Institute, which was the previous version of University of St. Joseph, and it was located in Nap area. It's a new area that was reclaimed. And then in 2009, we finally changed our university name to University of St. Joseph. So looking at our map around Macau, we have 3 campuses. Now we are presenting in the Green Island campus, which is the first one. And we do have another one for religious studies and the Faculty of Religious Studies. We have the seminary campus where we educate a lot of brothers and sisters and also some lay people. And the third campus, which was the one when we had IIUM many years ago, NAP campus. Nowadays, we have the science institutions. For the rest of the program and faculties, we station in the Green Island campus. After the brief introduction of our university, now let's jump to the art gallery. For the art gallery, we put online, we separated into 4 sections. We have the heritage and culture, heritage and visual identity, arts and fabrication, and the virtual galleries. So as you can see that we're focusing on the heritage and culture, but everything actually we are integrating the traditional aspect of what we can find in Macau, what we have in Macau, with the digital technology. So we do use a lot of virtual reality. We use a lot of 360 recording and this kind of technology to try preserving what we have now or try to recover what we had before. So in detail, I would like to present each of the projects. The first one is the 3D model of a chapel of St. Michael. This chapel is located in the middle of our city center, in the middle of our cemetery. And this one is actually was developed during COVID. Because during COVID time, we could not travel. We were kind of stuck in Macau. A lot of people, they were connected internationally. Some of them even are connected with Hong Kong and China. But we could not even cross the border to go to these adjacent places. So there was an idea of having an online place for people to do grave mourning or to just connect with their ancestors because they could not go abroad. And if you are aware of this, the Chinese cemeteries are usually very creepy and very scary. So taking consideration of the Portuguese background and the Catholic background we have, we consider having these the small chapel as the reference and as a starting point of being recreated in virtual reality. And people can be immersed in this virtual reality environment and to just connect themselves with the ancestor, or maybe pray or get some mindfulness time for their own, even if they're stuck in their home. The second one is the 3D model of Macau heritage buildings. We do have a lot of special architecture. We have some traditional Chinese ones and some traditional Portuguese ones. As you can see on the very left, we have the lighthouse and a small chapel on the Gear Hill. And the middle one is actually a part of the San Francisco Garden, which is mostly in pink and with this special type of columns. And we do have a lot of people going there just to take photo and to look at the architecture. And then the last one is a Chinese traditional theater. We do have a lot of Chinese movie putting on there on their screens, which has a lot of collective memories, especially among the Chinese community. We have these projects as the practice for our students to practice their 3D modeling skills, to have this rendered in a more dramatic way, to put it in this isometric scale. So this can allow them to, of course, practice all the modeling skills and the texturing skills to prepare them for the renderings they use for the graduation projects. Then the third one is not digitally fabricated. This is actually the reality. This is the real chapel located in our university. And because not always we can do 3D modeling for very specific details, but we would like to also preserve what we have already here, because, well, to be honest, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. And with this special architecture and the interior that is so beautifully done, we would like to preserve it as the one of the treasure we have on campus. And this is only a 360 photo, but we put it up as a virtual tour for people around the world to admire the beautiful paintings and sculptures of our little chapel of Holy Cross. And we have the floor for Professor Philippa.
Hello. So in this part of our gallery, we try to emphasize on projects that are related more with visual identity, but always emphasizing on different types of experience. So, for example, the first one, it is part of a master dissertation that a student of ours worked on. So this master dissertation is re-experiencing Macau street signage with augmented reality. So we tried to play around with the new technologies and see how we can revive signage throughout all Macau. So we had a few examples done. So our students not only created the animations, but also every animation has the story about the city, because our signage is into languages, Portuguese and Chinese, and in some cases, some of the signage have different connotations in Portuguese and different connotations in Chinese. So we try to also emphasize on this story so people that go around Macau can understand a little bit also about our history. Also because it's related to also Portuguese culture and Chinese culture. So we also emphasize on that. So she wanted to bring that back to life and actually create a different experience around the Macau signage. This student last December presented this as part of her dissertation in a conference in Portugal, Artec International, and she presented and also published this with us. And so this is what we also try to have from our students. So every work that we do with them, we try to also publish. So the second experience is the past in the present with immersive technologies, where a student of ours talks about a specific place in Macau, the albergue. So she goes back to how it was, how it is now, and what we can do also in the future. She also she emphasizes on a story as well. And so she has these 3 or 4 different channels. Right now, I am showing you the 3 channels that we have, where you can enter these channels, so like little portals, and go to the present, go to the past, and also have this story, or go to the future. So she has these, she implemented this also in 3D. She had some guidance on this as well. Also, Professor Sandra is doing specific and similar thing with her projects, but the student wanted to tell the story of how it was. So she wanted to talk a bit about this past. And this student also made sure that we had this dissertation published, and so she did that as well. Published all this also in another conference in Porto Alegre, also Portugal. These are Chinese students that with us have sent their work for abroad. So then we have also another project that we have right now that is visual identity, patterns and textures in the city of Macau, which is a research project where I am involved in, as well as Professor Sandra also sometimes guides us on this, which we try to most of the time see visual patterns and textures in a different way. For example, this example that we have there is a laser cut technique of our church here, our chapel in the campus. So we try to see the church in a different aspect and bring back the textures and patterns that surround the chapel. We also have been doing this for all the other churches around Macau. We already have 23 so far. So we vectorize all these textures and patterns, and then we print in 3D printing, we laser cut, we embroider. So we have a lot of these things. We have a lot of students working on this. We have published a presentation on this, and we're trying to publish also a book on this. We have had 3 main fundings from the government related to this, and so we are continuing as well. So so this is the street signage from the students. So she's trying to play around here with the animations more specifically, and she has also created an application where we can enjoy also a little bit about the history. So she talks a little bit about the history as well, and information about each of the signage. And because this is related with digital heritage, we try always to emphasize on Macau's culture as well. So this is the prototype I was talking about. So the future, present, and past, and also a scene related to how was it used before this space. So the student created a 3D environment inside and outside the albergue area that also has a church nearby, São Lázaro, and so we also try to have that in our research as well. So this is the visual identity. We have done this research in 3 languages, so basically we try to gather all this information going to various books in various libraries in Macau. We have collected a lot of information on this, and I have students working on traditional research, field work, and also new technologies, and trying to vectorize all the work and put it in 3D, packaging, identity. So we try to talk about various things in this project. And so these other projects are art and fabrication. So maybe I'll go a bit more in detail next slides. We have done with Professor Geraldo, who was the PI in this project, we have done this exhibition during 15 days, non-stop, where we printed a young character, in an art gallery in Macau called Creative Macau during Christmas time. So because usually in Christmas time we don't have much things related to new technology and things, so we thought that it was cool to do this live exhibition where you will see the 3D printing character being constructed. And so that's what we did, and I will go into detail so you can see also some other information. We also had a published paper on this, so professors also published a paper on this. We also had an exhibition with the Macau Art Museum in collaboration with the British Museum, where Professor Geraldo was also the PI and I was a collaborator, where we worked on various sculptures and various different Renaissance drawings, where we try to bring the drawings to 3D print, we try to bring the drawings to laser cut, we did puzzles, 3D puzzles, so the students can actually play around a little bit more with the Renaissance, but the objective was for visual people to use and to feel the art pieces. Usually they cannot see it, right? So we want them to feel the art pieces. So we created everything in 3D and with different types of techniques. We also had part of our tangible experience. We also had this project with the Macau Grand Prix Museum, where Professor Geraldo again was the PI, and we created the three 3D printed cars that were quite famous in Macau. And so we created this type of not only the cars, but we also created the 3 tables that were created by our professor and dean, Professor Carlos Senacaires, specifically for the museum, and is now at the museum. Still, everyone can see it and touch also these cars. Professor Sandra also she started working with us when we were finalizing this project, and she was welcome as well in this project. So I just want to show you a little bit of what we have done. So this was the live exhibition, the video mapping, the young character. It was quite time consuming. We had to construct, so this was live, so everyone can go in and go out of this space. We wanted people to collaborate, so sometimes they can go in and help us do stuff, which is fine. This was open for 15 days and we constructed it non-stop, 24/7. All the machines were working to create this young character. We also had 3D mapping done by Professor Carlos Senacaires, where he projected also on top of our young character. This project is quite interesting because we displayed this project in various different places, including a school, also in a show that we had, design show that was a yearly event in Macau. And so we also had this young character there. We had printed various types of sizes for this young character to give to people. But the cool thing about this project was also we wanted people to, as soon as we have a printed piece from this project, people can write and sign their names on the specific piece that was printed, and then we can hang also all this near the wall, which we did. So I will show you a little bit further. So we had to glue everything. So this was quite time consuming, but it was an interesting experience. And so then we had also an opening ceremony where we put everything on the wall. We also 3D printed some characters so people can play and do happy things. So we had various sentences also written with the letters. So so we make the community part of the project as well. So that was our purpose. So we also had the 3D printed project related with the art renaissance. So we had many different things. So the 3D printing as well here, then painting and gluing the 3D printed objects here and here. And this was our exhibition. So we also filmed so people can touch the art pieces. We also have a wall that we painted blue so people can write on the wall. People can leave their messages. So we wanted to know also people's points of view. So we actually filmed all this wall to see if they understood also our exhibition, since it was a tactile exhibition. And we also had various visually impaired people and friends coming in to test this project. It was really interesting. So on this side, we had our exhibition, and on the other side, we had the originals that everyone could see. So this was a shared collaboration between Macau Museum, British Museum, and USJ. So then we also had the fabrication for the Grand Prix. So we also had professional students working on the filming. Also, this was all done by our students. The filming is done by our students, editing, making of students and professors. And we always try to involve our students as much as we can in the various projects, and this was one of the tactile experiences that we have as well. So we had to take very detailed photos of the cars, and then we had to replicate these cars that are quite known in Macau. We also had various other things that we wanted to do, but this became the three main cars that we did. This is also part of our heritage, and so sometimes we forget that these things are more commercial, of course, but this is also part of our Macau heritage Grand Prix, and so that's why it's also part of the museum. So we had students also doing this. This is an architecture student as well, working, and so we had a few things that, let me go a bit. So this now I turn back to Professor Sandra so she can talk a bit about it.
Yeah, thank you, Philippa. As you can see that the detailed presentation that Philippa was doing, we have students always helping us, and because we try to use our technology, our skills, always helping with other colleagues and in other projects. So the galleries that I am showing here is also a collaboration among the students and also with some of our colleagues. The first one I wanted to emphasize is the Artefactal 2022 Macau Conference Gallery. And because it is in 2022, it's under the COVID time, and we could not have any physical conference if we want to invite someone abroad. We do have this conference collecting artworks all over the world from different artists and scholars. However, none of them, nor the artwork could be physically in Macau. So we, instead of having this as the traditional kind of conferences, we made it a hybrid conference together with a virtual gallery. This is also connected to the second project, which I will show you later. It's the VR USJ. Because of our our campus, if you have ever seen our university website, you'll see the 360 recorded virtual tour. However, these are the tools that we can preserve one specific time, but we cannot allow other changes. We cannot allow adaptation along the time. So we created it in virtual reality, which allow us to always add and minus things from virtual world that we can adapt to different time or maybe different season, or to put up several exhibition at the same time, despite the very small area we have in Macau. So this one with the virtual reality USJ that we created this gallery can allow us to have this artifactal conference and exhibition. And also the last gallery exhibition that I want to show you is the night painting exhibition. In detail, I will show you the video of quick recording of the walkthrough of these exhibitions. This is the conference gallery, so you can see that we do have some decoration that we usually don't find in reality. We try to integrate this with something that is imaginary, with some petitions that we can have sections separated, having all the artworks hung on the wall, with hotspots that we can enlarge the artwork so people can see it in detail, as well as some information panels for people to understand the meaning behind the artwork and also some background information of the artist. One of the very important highlight in our exhibition here is also the inclusion of NFTs, because we do have another colleague who is a professional on NFTs and also cryptocurrency, and he's participating in this exhibition, helping us to mine all these artworks online for people to interact with our exhibits. So people who are interested in our exhibits who can buy online the NFT. This virtual gallery has also integrated with some sound, because as you can see, we have different musical instruments around, and some are the dancing performance, some are the clarinet performance. So we have this opportunity of putting this on the cooler platform, which allow us to have the viewer teleporting to different spaces and to listen to different soundtracks. This is the virtual reality USJ. This, as you can see, this looks a bit abstract on the back of the environment, because it is completely computer not generated but produced. So our students, it was the class of design students, so it was a class of a few people inside, and we took this opportunity to divide our campus into small areas, and each of the students will take care of one specific area. For example, this was recreated by one of our best students. So along the process, they have to learn how to do the measurements by themselves, how to do the observation of everything that we can see every day, but we don't pay attention to. And we also look at the different kind of materials that we will use in interior design and also in construction and architecture, which also can have a big connection with the projects that Professor Philippa was mentioning, which is the pattern projects, because when we are creating the virtual reality or the virtual environments, the texture is the key elements that we want to emphasize to be more realistic in the environment when we are immersed. So the patterns that Professor Philippa is storing as an archive can be integrated into our 3D modeling and rendering process. So we can use whatever that is preserved in Macau City, and we can use that directly on our projects, which can, of course, speed up the process of the recreation, and also to try to mimic as much as possible the reality. Then this is the light painting exhibition. It is a highlighted exhibition for showcasing some of our communication and media students' work, because we don't always have this area for exhibiting some masterpieces of our students. Virtual gallery can be one of the best way out for us to have this always online, and for people to go back whenever they want to adore these masterpieces. And also, because every year, at the end of every year, we do have the graduation exhibition. but we have other years students also creating very good work, and the virtual gallery will allow us to have these platforms to showcase our best work, even though they are not in the graduation year. So I think that would be the end of the presentation, and I hope you enjoy all our galleries and exciting projects from the previous years until now, and we hope that we'll have many more exciting projects coming up.
Thank you very much, Philippa and Sandra. I think after your presentation, we realize how dynamic is UAG in terms of art and culture, and how creative also is your community. What was, I mean, that one point that really interests me, it's the way you have involved the students into these cultural activities, these artistic activities, or you in fact nourish their creativity, because main of this, I mean, I think for all of this project, the students are always involved in the different step of this project. So I think for them it's also a very good way to express their creativity, but also to develop the skills they are learning during their study, I suppose.
Yes. So we have our students involved. So we have a program here at USJ, which is a part of student ambassadors. So professors can involve students that want to do some ambassador work at the university. And then we involve them in various projects, and we like to involve the students in various stages. It's not only, okay, you only do this. No, we like to involve the students in various stages, and we like to train them in the various stages, because when you go into the market in various companies, you have to sometimes have different hats. And so we try to emphasize this, and we collaborate with a lot of students from communication, from fashion design, from architecture. So we have various students in various areas of our faculty working on this. We also have sometimes now students from translation, so they are also involved in translating some of the projects from communication, so we also have them. They are also part of our faculty. And Professor Sandra here, she trains the students to have this higher 3D knowledge as well, and I train, for example, in augmented reality and in visual identity. So I try to bring all these things together. Professor Gerald focuses on fabrication, although his area is sound also. So he also is involved in fabrication. Professor Sana and I also trained in fabrication as well, to make sure that we all have certain types of skills here to teach the students. And of course, we have to involve always the students. The students are the main focus for every project that we do. And without them, I tell you, nothing would be possible. So you can say so.
No, it's already very detailed, and yes, because we have a very small community, and every students, they are actually developing their own community as well. So they have a specific task during each project. Of course, like some of them, they are good at 3D, some of them are good at taking photos or organizing, coordinating things with Professor Philippa. She's a very good trainer on that. However, during the process, actually they are helping out each other, and this is a very good opportunity for them to learn different process in work, to prepare them not only after the bachelor studies, they have the internship, but they are already well prepared to work among the team.
We also have master students involved, so because we want to involve them also, want to make sure that dissertations have a better quality, so we try to have students publish papers and publish books in order for also for them to continue their studies for PhDs. And so we always try to involve master students on this. I even have alumni students from master degrees coming back to school to do some work with us as well. which I think it's a valuable thing that we also have. And so this is something that USJ has. So once we create this community, once we have these teachers training in various different areas, then students want to also be involved. Although they have already their jobs, they want to come back to school to be involved in these projects.
It's very interesting the way you have connected the different components of UAG community, the student, the professor, but also you were saying that not only students of the Faculty of Arts are involved, but other. So into very concrete project that after that became, I will say, a public exhibition, because that's the other point I've noted, that you are collaborating with the local authority, with the Macau authority, because you work with the Museum of Macau, with different identities that are external stakeholder of the university. So you bring also people from the external to the university. In fact, when you organize an exhibition, I suppose, yes, it's the work of the student, but the visitors, the audience, is people from different parts of Macau, I think. So it makes known the university.
Yes, yes. So we had these 3 big projects that we did around Macau with the museums. And I think that because our work is recognized in the industry here in Macau, because we are a small community, right? So I think that we are also invited. So we were invited to do these projects. We also have another professor that was involved in another community project as well from architecture. We have Professor Sandra still doing heritage work also as well. I am involved in visual identity around Macau, so we also have funding for this. And so we try as much as we can to be involved in the community. And so it's very important for us to have a good environment for our students, because our students are the ones that tell other people also how we work and what we are doing. Yes.
Sure. And you also use very modern tools that I think make sense also for this new generation. The different way you use it, and I think it can be also a good way to attract students that to this kind of project. The third point I was impressed is the way you work, you bring together the past and the present. This heritage work between the history of Macau, which is linked to the history of UAG, of course, and the way you bring the past to the present. And I suppose that it's very interesting for the university, but also that the role of the university to be a space of creating and broadcasting knowledge. And so that's very interesting, knowing that Macau is a place of history with a long history, and the way you work on heritage, the project you have on the Renaissance, also that's also make aware the student, the community about some part of the history that maybe they are not so aware of, I suppose.
You want to go first and then I can?
Yes. Yeah, talking about the integration of the traditional and new technologies, there is another very exciting project that we can also use with virtual reality is the ambisonic systems that we recently have recreated. And in this room that we are presenting, actually the system was assembled here. It's a fully immersive sound system with 4 speakers around you, as like a dome around you. So together with being immersed in a virtual reality, it will be a fully immersed experience. And we would like to dive into this project because we can also use this technology to take the sound profile of specific interior or specific space, and then we can transform other ambisonics recording into special formats so that we can fit the recording into those sound profiles, as if dry recording could be played like it was played in the cathedral or something. So it will be very interesting.
We have also another project that is part of this, so it's the first version of this project that Professor Sandra is mentioning, that is related to Macau's soundscapes, the sound around Macau. So one of the things that we also record is the sound around Macau, and then the various specific places are codified, the sound, and you have a specific keyword for a specific sound or a specific sound place. So we also have this project done by Professor Gerald, Professor Sandra, and also a few other colleagues. And so now with this ambisonics project that we have also related to sound, we can recreate also the sound in the interior, which is Professor Sandra will also create the 3D environment, but also the sound experience. So I think that we try to play around with various technologies to make sure that we have a cool, also fun environment to test our expertises. And also, of course, we involve the students on this. But when you talk about the past, present, and we also have future, we also have a few things on this. And we try to make sure we know very well the history of the location. So we have to do a lot of field work because Macau has various libraries that can communicate with each other. So we can use all the books that are around Macau related to heritage and related to the history of Macau. So we can go to these libraries and gather a lot of information. Not only ours has a very good library on this and a very good, various good books, but we also can use the Macau libraries all over Macau to understand a bit more about the past, so we can know what we can do in relation to the future as well. So we try to have this, but it's actually quite time consuming because we have various students only doing traditional research, like I mentioned, so going to libraries, going into reading books and everything, so their English also has to be perfect. And because we are an international university, we have various different types of people working from various different countries. And so we try to emphasize also on our quality of English. And so this also helps the student improve this area as well. So yeah, but it's a bit time consuming, but fun and exciting to do special and different works that other universities around Macau are not doing. So we want to do something different.
And not only our faculty, even our library is doing this, digitalizing a lot of ancient documents and stuff in their library. This is too much to do, but too little time for us. But we are trying to digitalize everything that we can preserve now.
Well, yes, that I was also thinking you are, I mean, your work is quite innovative, time consuming, I suppose, because to be creative, it's also to have this capacity to coordinate, because you have to do a lot of coordination and with these different components of the community. But yeah, the choice to make something different is also that make the work more beautiful and interesting. So I would like maybe to give the floor to our participants if they want to share, ask you a question or share a comment, an observation. It's possible. So if you want to ask, you can activate your microphone or write down your question in the chat. And like that, Philippa or Sandra or both can reply to you. Knowing for the one who could attend to the webinar today, the replay will be available quite soon. And if we receive any question after this webinar, we will share it with Philippa and Sandra. So if there is no more comments, I would like to thank once again on behalf of the Federation, Philippa and Sandra, for your time today, for this, I will say, very immersive and captivating journey. And it's a very good way to start the day, I have to say, very creative. And you do an incredible job at UHG, very creative. So thank you again for your time, for your explanation. And I'm sure, I'm convinced that your work can also be quite inspiring for other universities that also are working on this field of how to promote art and culture to their community. So I think that's an example of a good practice that you are doing. So congratulations. And next, for the continuation of this Biennial celebration, the next webinar will be with our colleague of the Catholic University of Lublin. It should be at the beginning of June. So we will communicate on that. And for the webinar today, as I said, the replay will be available. And also, if some member of the community, the international community of IFCU, would like to interact with you, Philippa and Sandra, of course, they will be able to do it. So thank you again. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And all the best for your future project.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.